What's up, guys? Welcome to the Crypto Savvy channel. I'm Craig, and we're going to be going over the charts as usual. We're going to take a look at the DXY, take a look at the 10-year yield, and then, of course, Bitcoin. If you guys watched my last video, I made a tutorial on PrimeXBT's new feature. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link up top later on in the video. But when I made that, I made a account just with a small amount. I think it was 190 bucks. I put in a trade live on that, and I also have been talking about how to ladder in trades. That is my preferred way to trade, and I'll show you what I've done with that trade. I have laddered it up, and I'll show you how that works, show you where my stops are, things like that. But let's get into the charts. I do think this could have been a big bull trap, but we have key areas to watch, and I'm going to show you exactly what those are, what I'm watching, why I'm watching them, and what I'm looking for. Definitely stick around for the whole video. We're going to also take a look at XRP and Tesla. These charts are extremely old, and they're still playing out as expected. As you guys know, I'm a buyer of Tesla between 40 and 50, maybe 60 bucks, somewhere in there. I still think that's a very good possibility. I'll show you why in the charts. Remember, none of this is financial advice. Always do your own due diligence. Make sure before we begin, smash those thumbs up. Leave your comments down below, whether bullish or bearish. And let me know what you think of the charts, and let's get into it. All right, so over here, we are looking at the dollar. If you guys belong to the Discord, if you don't, there's a link down below. But we've been watching this 200 EMA. We're back above it right now. But the big thing I want you guys to look at here is if we go into the weekly, you'll see we're bouncing right at the 55 EMA, right? I was watching this 105 to hold as support, which it hasn't. So if this holds as resistance, we could possibly come down further. But guys, what people aren't showing you is the big picture with the DXY. This is the big picture, right? It is bullish in the big time frames. I've been bullish on the DXY for a long time when everybody was saying it was dead back here. If you guys have been around for any amount of time, I've explained what I think is coming, the biggest money grab in history, and why the dollar will rise right before that happens. So check out my prior videos if you want to know about that. Let's take a look at the 10-year yield. As you guys know, my targets are 7 and 8.3. So far, we got our bounce right here off our trend line. I believe the next break of this 5% area, we may hover around there for a while, but if that breaks, we are continuing much further to the upside. If we break this 4.4 range, we could possibly come down to 200 EMA around 4.06-ish, right? Depending on if, when, and where. But as you guys know, I'm still bullish on this. And I believe the interest rates for a 30-year mortgage will be well above 10% before this whole bear market is over. And yes, I said before the bear market is over, right? So let's take a look at some charts here real quick. Something I pointed out last week, maybe the week before, I'm not sure. But if you put your Fibonacci retracement, which is right here, if you put that from this swing high to the swing low, the swing high from 2017 to the swing low from 2018, and you'll notice where the bear market rally went to, just above the 0.382, right? Just above it. Didn't make it back up to the 0.5, made it just above there. So if we zoom out a little bit and look at where we're at now, and we do the same thing over here, from the swing high 2021 to the swing low 2022. As you can see, we have hit our bottom here. Not true bottom, false bottom that we talked about for 2 years. Getting our bear market rally. Here's your 382 just above it, not quite to the 0.5. Now, it doesn't mean it has to look exactly like this. If it did, it's going to take a long time to bottom out, right? If it was to look like this is just an example. But I do believe there's a good possibility we have topped out here. If we drop back down below this 35.9 or whatever and hold as resistance, your next support in the bigger time frame is going to be 28,000, and then of course your bottom. And then if I do believe there's a good possibility we still get that 35 to 9,700. 9,700 is looking a little more likely than 35, but never underestimate the markets, guys. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin on the daily. So this is our daily chart we were watching. Let's zoom in, see where we're at right now. So far, if you look at this trend line here, right? Well, let me zoom back out real quick. If you look at this trend line here, we had a touch on the top, touch on the bottom, touch on the top, touch on the bottom, alternate touches, and then we broke it here. Was this a bear trap? Well, let's see how this trend line holds up right here. If this holds as resistance, and currently, and it's raising little by little, right? This is the daily chart, but around 36,350, 36,360 range. If we can open and close the daily above there, then possibly. Now let's take a look at what the bullish count would be there, right? So the bullish scenario would be you take a measured move of this. Now there's another way to look at this. We're going to do that in the next chart. But if we did get back above there, what would that target be? All the way up to 50,000. I know there's a lot of people calling for 50,000. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. First, you have to break and hold above this 36. What did I say it was? 36.50. Let's just say 36.50, 36.60, somewhere in that range. So if we do, then look for upside. But as long as this holds as resistance, I'm looking for a retest at least back down here. It's around that 28,000 range, which would be the bottom of this trend. And if that breaks, then you move this down to where it broke. That gets you down to that $13,000 to $17,000 range, depending on if, when, and where it broke. If you look at the RSI here, it looks like we are wanting to break this bottom trend line. If we do, that'll probably be a pretty swift move down, getting us down to this 28,000 range, probably bounce around in here for a while before breaking if we do break to the downside. Now, this is another chart we've been watching, ABCDE falling wedge, right? So if we tapped out here, like I said, 37 to 9,700, still looking for these ranges for E. But let me take a look at something else. So you'll notice this trend line here, right? That wasn't on the other one. We were looking at this red in the last chart, right? Which we are still down below this. This is a weekly chart. But if we clone this bottom, or I'm sorry, clone this top trend right here, and we bring it to the bottom, it's right here. That could still be alternate touches. This could be a rising channel, but we would have to have one more touch to the downside. And let me show you. We have a touch at the top, touch at the bottom, touch at the top. The next touch would be at the bottom here. Then that would be a little bit different story. That would mean that this drop, if we do get it, would be somewhere around 27,000 instead of 28. Either way, we'll see what happens here. If it does, what would that measured move be? Well, you just take a measured move of the rising channel, bring it down, and you get about 13.5, somewhere in that range. That's just a bounce point, right? Not a true bottom, in my opinion. Now, let's take a look at the chart I posted on the thumbnail, right? So looking at this as a rising channel, we've been watching this for a long time also. So right now, this was where I was looking for a rejection. Obviously, we got some wicks above, but if we put it over here now, so if we do break that 36,360 range, I'd be looking for a retest of this at 37.2. Now, if that breaks and we hold above it, then we could look for a higher target, right? Up to possibly 48 to 50,000. But as of right now, we are still below our next. Let's take a look at this fib right here. What is that? That is our, this ain't showing. Let's go into the daily chart and see what fib that is. The 382 at 36,000. So if this happens, we do break this 36,000, this will probably become resistance. And then we could look at your next little bounce somewhere between 33 and 34. Come back up, maybe retest that before coming down to the bottom of this channel. Well, let's see what happens there. This could just be a perfect bull trap. If you guys were around when I started talking about this chart, I talked about if we got up here, just watch for wicks, because this is how the market likes to trap FOMO people. So be careful there. Now, let's take a look at my sponsor, Prime XBT. They started a new thing on their platform. I made a video about it. I'll leave it right up top if you want to check it out. And I made a video on how to place orders, different orders, your limits, your stops, market orders, and such and such. So let's look at what's going on with that, where I put my order in. So my first order that I put in there was down here, 37,144. That's when I made the video. Now remember, I started with, I think it was $190 in it. It's just a account I made up just to do this, right? So, and then I always talk about laddering in. You can see where here was my first order, my second, third, and so on. So I placed it at 37,144 with $190 at 0.1 Bitcoin, right? Kept it low leverage. And then as it went down past some support areas, I started to add more on every bounce, right? I got this all the way up to, with a bunch of orders, 1.2 Bitcoin, which is a value of a $43,400 trade, right? Is what the total trade amount is, right? So as of right now, we are up 590 or 530%, right? We're up 248%. The unrealized profit, I'm sorry, is $550. We're up 250%, right? Right now we're in this area. Now the good thing about laddering is once you get into the trade, into profit, so it takes all them trades, puts it all into one area, right? And this is cross leverage. That's why I use cross leverage, because you can use your unrealized profit to add to your positions instead of putting more capital in. 36,621 is where it averages, right? And currently we are at 36,186. I have my stops at 36.5. So if I get stopped out, I make a little bit of profit, not a whole lot, but I don't lose money. So this is automatically a winning trade as of right now. Definitely not a loss. Can't lose the trade. So just a different way to look at how trading. People think you just trade, you get liquidated, blah, blah, blah. I always stress use stop losses. They come in handy. And you can make a lot of money off trading, guys. So if you are interested in it, check out Prime XBT. Links down below. You can use my promo code SAVVY50. That'll get you up to a $7,000 bonus to use towards your margins. SAVVY25 to get you 25% off your fees. Definitely check out their new feature. It is the crypto futures feature. Check it out. And yeah. So here's another reason I think that this could have been the final trap, right? This is my distribution schematic. Matches up beautifully with the Wickoff distribution phase. You guys know I'm a fan of Wickoff at times when the market is in position and the structure is right. And this does seem to be right, but this is the area I had told you guys to be watching, 37.18. Watch for wicks above. We got wicks above. We got a rejection. We'll see how this holds up, but it's definitely a good possibility that we have just witnessed a bull trap. So here is XRP. I've been warning people of this forever, right? Every time you get a hype cycle in XRP, this yellow line is the absolute top that it makes it to. Now, if it breaks this and opens and closes a weekly above this yellow trend line, then I may even buy XRP. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this thing is just a dying coin, man. As you can see, the white trend line, we never open and close a weekly above that. You get wicks above it, but never open and close a weekly. Again, we are down below that white, right? Guys, I think this thing's going to between 4 and 26 cents. That's where I think it's going. Tesla. This chart is 2 years old, guys. I'm a buyer at 40 to 50 bucks. Been saying that for a long time. Looks like we're coming up to retest this 247 area before continuing down. I don't think this is going to a new all-time high, just like I don't think any of the traditionals are going to a new all-time high. I think they all topped out in 2022, 2023 actually, for the traditional markets, 2022 for Bitcoin, obviously. But I do think we have much lower to go in all these. So be careful, guys. Here's BNB. We've been watching this. Our next rejection area for BNB is around 260. I put these charts in here. Told you watch for bounce around 202. Look at that. We got 3 bounces. Once this breaks, your next area to look for a bounce is 153. It may bounce around here for a minute, depending. It may just blow right through. But 69 is my target there. If it goes below that, I believe Binance is dead. In my opinion, we'll see what happens. Now, could this turn around, go bullish, and all markets go to a huge bull market because of the 4-year cycle? It's possible, but guys, remember the 2 rules to the 4-year cycle. When everybody who used to talk about it, now they leave a rule out, right? It was Bitcoin never goes down below its last cycle high. We did that. We went much below it. We went 5 grand below it. But they don't talk about that now. The second rule was new all-time high every 4 years. Well, I think that's going to be broken this time too. Be careful out there, guys. Much love. Make sure you smash the likes. Leave your comments down below. Join the free Discord. Yeah. Take it easy. Have a great day. I am out. I'll go over all markets tomorrow in tomorrow's video. So make sure your notification bells are ticked. Subscribe if you haven't already. And see you tomorrow.